Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family a part of your day. Greatly appreciate it. If you're live here on this Saturday evening, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Make sure to give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so and share the video on all social media platforms. Tonight I want to talk about schedules, but only for a minute because every fan base says the same thing. Good evening, Kevron. Glad to have you here, as always. But Thursday night was when the 2026 NFL schedules came out. Now, that's when the schedules were officially released, but there was leaks of openers and primetime games and the games over in Brazil for 2 to 3 weeks. So by the time the schedules actually came out, most teams knew who they were playing. You just didn't know when you were playing them, except for 2 or 3 games. But Thursday night schedule came out. The NFL does it every year around the middle of May because they want to stay on your mind, fresh on your radar all year long. So they spread out everything they do so that pretty much year round there's something in the NFL going on. The NFL runs like a machine, and I think everybody's figured that out by now. And since they run like a machine, everything they do works to perfection. But I always find it humorous that every year when the schedules come out, every single fan base and every single media person in that city of that team will start saying, man, our schedule's tough. Man, our schedule's hard. Man, the NFL did us no favors. Man, we got shafted. Man, we got cheated. Same way in college football. I've said for years that I never do the tough schedule argument. To me, that's somebody that wants to talk college football, but really they don't know enough. So their fallback argument's always, well, we had a tough schedule. Schedule's tougher. Every team in America can't have the toughest schedule. It's impossible. And most of the time, the fans that say their team's schedule's the toughest, in reality, it's not. But I give one guy credit. His name is Nick Wilson, and he works in the Cleveland, Ohio market. And he said yesterday that he thinks the NFL gave the Cleveland Browns about as easy of a schedule as you could give somebody. And I give him credit because I bet I heard 15 people in the Atlanta market yesterday, whether it was radio, TV, podcast, magazine. People yesterday, the Falcons got shafted. Boy, the Falcons got cheated. Boy, the NFL did us no favor. Boy, look at our schedule. Even though the Falcons in reality have one of the easiest schedules in the NFL. People don't realize it's the NFL. There's no such thing as an easy schedule. Every team you play can beat you on any given Sunday or Monday whenever the game is played. So I don't even know what would make a fan base think their team got an easy schedule, but you never hear that. It's always, well, my team got shafted. You could turn on local radio for every market that has a team in the NFL, and I guarantee you 99% of the people in that market are going to say, boy, our team schedule sucks. Boy, our team schedule is hard. And it's an impossibility. But I found this earlier, wanted to talk about it. It's the 5 easiest schedules and the 5 hardest schedules. Now, this is according to the football experts. So if you're one of the teams that has one of the 5 hardest schedules, you might have some beef because even according to the experts, you've got a hard schedule. But if you're one of the teams that has one of the 5 easiest schedules, you can't say a thing because if you have a top 5 easy schedule, that's as easy as it gets. Now, they base this on who you play and what those teams did last year, and that's what bases, the easy schedule and hard schedule. If you play a bunch of teams that missed the playoffs last year, then your schedule is considered easy. If you play a bunch of teams that made the playoffs last year, then your schedule's hard. Hey there, Beans. Glad to have you here. And hey there, Annette. Glad to have you here. If it's y'all's first time being here for whatever reason made y'all stop tonight by the channel, thank you very much. Feel free to give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so and share the video on all social media platforms. Tell your friends, tell your family about the channel. Hey there, Tracy. Glad to have you here as well. And there's always 3 or 4 teams on your schedule that you expect to be no good and they're better than you expect. And there's 3 or 4 teams on your schedule that you expect to be really good and they end up not being good. How many people going into last year would have had the Chiefs going 6-11 and missing the playoffs? Probably nobody, but the fact is, but the 5 easiest schedules are the Cleveland Browns, the New Orleans Saints, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Atlanta Falcons, and the Indianapolis Colts. Those are the 5 easiest schedules. The 5 hardest schedules, the hardest schedule in the league, the Chicago Bears. And we have the Miami Dolphins, the Arizona Cardinals, the Green Bay Packers, and the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs' schedule is going to be considered hard because they're 6-11 last year. If you're 6-11, you're not very good. And if you're not very good, every team you play is probably not very good last year. Well, if every team you play is better than you, well, of course, obviously your schedule is going to be tough. But Patrick Mahomes will probably be back by week 1. I'm pretty sure he's back by week 1, so the Chiefs will definitely not go 6-11 again this year. But that's why their schedule is considered so hard. And the Browns' schedule gets the easiest because of, even though they're not a very good team, the majority of the good teams they play, they get them at home. And, the Browns don't play a lot of primetime games because they're not very good. So because of that, even though they still play Pittsburgh, who always has a rowdy fan base, they play Baltimore, who always has a rowdy fan base. So when you go there, their fans are going to be, loud. But there's a big difference in being loud at 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon and being that loud at 8:30 on a Sunday night or a Monday night. So that's why the Browns schedule is considered so easy. But to me, I think the Falcons, even though the Falcons got cheated, the Falcons got shafted, boy, the Falcons got the raw deal. That bunch of garbage. I personally think the Falcons have an easy schedule. Now, it starts out kind of tough, but coming down the stretch, the last half of the season, it's about as easy as you can get. And the Falcons division is so awful that if you win 9 games, you got a pretty good chance to win the division. And if they can just hang around the first half of the season and hover around 500, they've got a pretty good shot to win the division. But the Falcons this year, to me, have 2 problems. One, they've got Tommy Rees on offense calling plays. I think Tommy Rees is terrible. And 2, if you look, I know they went out and got Tua, or as some say, T. you. I understand that, but if you look into his career, he's had so many concussions. If he just gets kicked, he's going to be out 3 weeks. And Michael Penix Jr. was in college for 6 years, and in 4 of those 6 years, he had season-ending injuries. Then he comes to the NFL and pretty much is a starter for 1 year, and he gets a season-ending injury. So if you look at their track records, you pretty much can guarantee that Michael Penix Jr., even if he is ready by week 1, which I don't think he will be, but if he is, it doesn't matter. You look at his track record, you can bet that he's going to miss 3 or 4 games. You look at Tua's track record, and you can bet he's going to miss 3 or 4 games. And their third-string quarterback is Trevor Siemian. If the Falcons have to go with Trevor Siemian at any point this year, I don't care if they play the Jets, they're not winning. So, to me, that's the Falcons' main issue. Is their schedule easy? Absolutely. Should the Falcons win 9 games with that schedule? Absolutely. Will the Falcons win 9 games with that schedule? No, they won't. We're talking about a team that's had 8 consecutive losing seasons. Hey there, Treasure. Glad to have you here on this Saturday evening. Now, we know what the Falcons are known for. The Falcons are known for what they call falconing. They go out there, and when the season matters and when the games count, the Falcons are awful. Then by the time they get cut from the playoffs and their season's over, they go out there and win games. Look at last year. I think last year they won their last 3 games after we already knew Raheem Morris was going to be fired. After they're out of the playoffs, instead of losing to get a higher draft pick, they go out and win their last 3 games. That don't mean diddly squat. So if the Falcons do have a long season because of injuries to Tua and Penix, don't be surprised if they go out and win their last 2 or 3 games that don't mean anything, and they don't make the playoffs, and they don't win the division, and they'll miss out on a high draft pick because they want to win games late in the season to give their fans hope for next year that don't mean anything. Now, I did hear the Falcons over-under is 7.5. I think that's about right because to me, I think their floor is 5 wins. I think the ceiling is 10 wins, and right in the middle of that is 7.5. So I think that's about accurate. If they can go through the whole season with Penix or Tua, I can see 9 or 10 wins. If they've got to go with Trevor Siemian for more than a snap, that's a 5-win team, maybe. But, they play each team in their division twice. Now, they'll probably split with all 3 teams, but they should beat each team both times they play them. They're in a division, a bunch of awful football teams. And then they play the Commanders, who also have a quarterback that has problems staying healthy. They play the Browns, who are terrible. So, to me, the Falcons should win 9 or 10 games. But will they? No, they won't. I just think it's funny how every single fan base every year says, boy, so-and-so cheated, so-and-so got shafted. Well, the NFL didn't do us no favors. Well, the NFL hates us, and you hear that with every single team. But now, if you're one of the teams that has one of the 5 hardest schedules, you've got a beef. If you're a fan of one of the teams that has one of the 5 easiest schedules, Browns, Saints, Bengals, Falcons, Colts, do not tell me that your team's schedule is hard because, first of all, you're factually incorrect. We don't want to let facts get in the way of a good story, I know. But second of all, I don't want to hear it. If you want to talk football, but don't make yourself sound stupid just to talk football. Any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. What did Sarah say when her photos arrive in time? One day my prince will come. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3.